AEW All-In Texas reportedly is expected to break two major non-WWE records. There were broadcast issues for last night's SmackDown in Riyadh for the international viewers on Netflix. We'll let you know the reasons behind that. One of the segments affected was the Randy Orton-Cody Rhodes opening segment. We'll let you know what happened in that segment. We have the ratings for Thursday's edition of AEW Collision. The backstage reaction to the AEW recent stretch of shows has been revealed. Several edits reportedly were made to CM Punk's segment involving John Cena and Punkonomics last night on SmackDown. Details behind MJF's shocking appearance in MLW this week. Michael Cole confirms that SmackDown is returning to a 2-hour broadcast time from next week. Karrion Kross addresses rumours surrounding him not liking taking flat back bumps. Blake Monroe makes her WWE in-ring debut at an NXT live event. More details on how the Beast Mortos was able to appear at Arena Mexico for AEW Grand Slam Mexico last week. And WWE announces WWE Late Night featuring Tony Hinchcliffe during SummerSlam weekend. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, a reminder, we are going to be live tonight for a WWE Night of Champions watch-along. It kicks off at 6 p.m. UK time, so I'll be live at 5:45 British Summer Time. I'll also be live straight after the show goes off the air for a Night of Champions post-show. In addition to that, check out the sidebar. You'll see all upcoming post-shows, watch-alongs, live streams we've got on the channel for the likes of AEW All-In Texas, Saturday night's main event, and WWE Evolution. Now, speaking of All-In Texas, some positive news for AEW's biggest pay-per-view event of the year. AEW All-In Texas is just over 2 weeks away at the time recording, and as the match card begins to grow larger, so does the number of tickets sold and money made at the gate. The two largest gates in AEW history were the two previous All-In events at Wembley Stadium in London, England, with All-In Texas already set to take the bronze medal position in that list. But in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer talked about two other records that All-In Texas is set to break. With 2 weeks to go until the show, around 19,000 tickets have been sold and approximately $2.5 million has been generated at the gate, which is not only double what the 2023 Forbidden Door gate finished at, which was the largest US gate in AEW history, but is far and away the largest non-WWE gate in wrestling history. The other record that All-In Texas is set to break is the largest attendance for a non-WWE pay-per-view event in North American history. The record is currently held by WCW's Slamboree event in 1999, where 20,516 people were in attendance, but due to the amount of free tickets that were given out for the show, 6,727 to be specific, All-In Texas already holds the record for the most amount of tickets sold for a non-WWE pay-per-view on US soil. AEW's current attendance record was set at the first ever Grand Slam edition of AEW Dynamite in 2021, with the company announcing a total of 20,177 people in attendance, but Meltzer believes that figure will be surpassed by July 12th. While All-In Texas is set to be the third largest gate in AEW history, Meltzer also noted that the upcoming Forbidden Door pay-per-view in London, England on August 24th has reached $2.1 million at the gate, already making that show the fourth largest gate in company history. Now, of course, if you watched along with us last night for the SmackDown watch-along on Netflix, of course, you would have noticed all of the broadcast issues that the show broadcasting from Riyadh had. Now, during the WWE SmackDown broadcast from Saudi Arabia, there was a feed outage that caused broadcast issues for international viewers. Now, about 10 minutes into the show, international feeds froze, and the screens in Riyadh went out during a Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes promo. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the talent were made aware of the issues, and after the promo, Randy Orton tried to kill time by speaking with the crowd. After that, Orton's theme played repeatedly, and he went around meeting fans. About 25 minutes into the outage, Cody Rhodes came out to speak with the crowd, and the internal screens began working again. Carmelo Hayes, in street clothes, was brought out to confront Cody Rhodes. He ended up eating a crossroads. Now, the TV outage lasted over 30 minutes, and we've got more details on what happened during the Cody Rhodes-Randy Orton segment. Now, in an update as to what actually happened, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WWE sources said to Fightful that a power outage to the control room and gorilla position area at the venue caused the issue. Now, it did air as usual, as per normal in the United States, but there was a bit of a caveat there, and it was sort of produced and presented differently than what you would expect from a traditional WWE broadcast. Now, after this power outage at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, caused problems for the international broadcast of SmackDown on Netflix, the footage that aired during the regularly scheduled USA Network broadcast in the United States looked quite different than WWE's usually polished camera work, though the audio remained broadcast quality. WWE appeared to have patched together different camera angles for Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes' opening promo segment, which was reportedly reshot following the 30-minute delay due to the technical difficulties. Now, the segment was shot almost sort of shaky cam style, as Orton and Rhodes argued over who would take the King of the Ring crown when they faced off this evening at Night of Champions. The camera angles and cuts were a bit jarring, sometimes out of focus at points, even if they were kind of looking like they were shot on a camera phone, though the audio was clear and both men got their points across to the audience at home. Throughout the segment, which you can see on the screen here, WWE aired a graphic that mentioned the technical difficulties during the live broadcast earlier on in the day. Now, during the segment, Rhodes was unable to get a word out before Orton's music hit. Orton told him that his semi-finals match against Jey Uso on Raw was match of the year worthy, but Orton was seeking redemption in Saudi Arabia after losing to Gunther last year in the tournament finals. Rhodes replied that his reason for becoming King of the Ring was more justified than anyone's, and they fought over challenging undisputed WWE Champion John Cena at SummerSlam. Now let's go to AEW Collision. Of course, didn't air in its usual time slots. It aired on Thursday this week instead of Saturday. Now, Programming Insider is reporting that AEW Collision on June 26th scored 285,000 viewers on TNT. Now, this is down 33% from the 426,000 viewers the show drew in its usual Saturday spot on June 21st. Thursday's episode also scored a 0.08 rating in the 1849 demographic. That's down 20% from last week's 0.10 rating. Now, for comparison, the last Thursday episode on May 22nd drew 353,000 viewers on TBS and the same 0.08 rating. Now, Thursday's episode finished 7th on cable. The night was topped by round 2 of the NBA draft, which scored 1.179 million viewers and drew a 0.35 demo rating on ESPN. In terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them and should be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. Of course, as per usual, the show also aired on Max. Viewership numbers for Max are not available at the time of recording this video. Now, there's been quite a few different AEW shows going on in recent weeks. The road to All Elite Wrestling's biggest event on North American soil has certainly been an eventful one and still has some major stops left to go. Since Double or Nothing on May 25th, AEW has held a pair of 4-hour TV specials, Fyter Fest and Summer Blockbuster. They've traveled to Arena Mexico for the Grand Slam Mexico edition of AEW Dynamite and are just days away from Dynamite celebrating its landmark 300th episode, while AEW Collision will celebrate its 100th episode in the same week. Even before these shows, it seemed that the vibe surrounding AEW was one of major positivity, and that the company was in a much better place than it was a year or two ago. This has all but been confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who has reported there have been a number of very positive reactions from behind the scenes in AEW, and that the atmosphere is as good as it has been in a long time. Sources noted to Fightful that the stretch of shows leading up to All-In Texas was seen as one of the company's most important run of shows ever, given they needed to be special in their own right, while also building towards the big event on July 12th. And that is something that some people think in AEW has worked like a charm. AEW, of course, will be hosting other specials of Dynamite and Collision later this year. The Road to Forbidden Door in London, England, will see the company hold a residency at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois, and AEW's debut in Scotland on August 20th. While the road to All Out in Toronto, Canada will primarily take place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as AEW will host another residency, this time at the iconic former ECW arena known as the 2300 Arena. Now, more edits to SmackDown, this time to the main event segment. Now, the show aired, as I mentioned, live from Riyadh and had power issues. However, the main event segment with CM Punk and John Cena ended up getting edited as well. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, a source in WWE confirmed what anyone's ears that watched both the broadcasts could see. There was additional crowd noise in the United States broadcast, and CM Punk's line flub was edited out. One WWE production source said to Fightful that yesterday was a very busy one between the power issues and the main event segment editing, and they're personally excited for the move to 2 hours of SmackDown next week. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now, MJF made a surprise return to MLW this week. He made a shock appearance at New York City's Melrose Ballroom on Thursday night as he surprisingly returned to Major League Wrestling at the Summer of Beasts. After Mystico made his way to the ring to cut a promo, the CMLL legend suddenly had to fend off members of the Contra unit. After Mystico thought he had successfully done so, he was suddenly attacked from behind and sent to the mat with a low blow by another member of the faction, or so it appeared. After the figure removed a Contra unit mask and then a Mystico mask, it was revealed to be MJF. The former AEW World Champion then beat down Mystico some more. Now, the 29-year-old wasn't backstage at MLW Summer of Beast for long, with PW Insider reporting that MJF was snuck into the Melrose Ballroom around 10 minutes before his surprise appearance. Friedman then left the building right after his segment with Mystico. Of course, MJF was previously part of MLW from 2017 to 2020, during which he held the MLW World Middleweight title and the MLW World Tag Team Championships with Richard Holliday. Friedman faced Mystico at AEW Grand Slam Mexico. Mystico won the match via disqualification after MJF hit his opponent with a low blow right in front of the referee. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate then unmasked Mystico post-match in Arena Mexico. Now, Michael Cole has confirmed what many people had reported. SmackDown is returning to a 2-hour runtime. Reports had emerged earlier in the week to suggest that the June 27th episode of SmackDown, emanating from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, ahead of Night of Champions, would be the last of the 3-hour broadcast. Cole confirmed that to be the case on commentary during Friday's show. SmackDown had previously been a 2-hour show until its transition from Fox to USA Network last September, and the runtime had been a particular point of debate amongst fans and critics alike since. Raw has grown to be known as the 3-hour flagship promotion brand of the promotion, but it has greater flexibility in its scheduling through the streaming deal with Netflix. WWE CCO Paul Triple H Levesque confirmed as far back as January that the plan was to return to 2 hours, while also describing how he would ideally have the show run between 2 and 3 hours depending on what is needed on the night. It had been reported back then that the planned change would occur in June, and that has turned out indeed to be the case. Now, one of the more interesting stories this week has been this rumor about Karrion Kross not liking to take flat back bumps, and that's why wrestlers reportedly in the industry don't think he's going to be a big star in WWE. Now, Karrion Kross has addressed these rumors surrounding him not liking to take flat back bumps. He said the following, quotes, "I thought out of all the crazy articles that are fabricated about me every week, that was the weakest. There was another wild one I saw last week that was even funnier. It said something like Karrion Kross is going to come to Monday Night Raw and he's going to quit and do a shoot promo live and then walk out. I thought that was a good one, but I don't really respond to any of them. There's a crazy one about me every week or two. You just kind of have to laugh." Now, as I mentioned, this is come off the back of Kross's popularity not being reflected in his usage on WWE programming, with 5 of Kross's 7 matches in 2025 taking place on main event. He's only had one singles match on Raw in 2025, a loss to AJ Styles ahead of WrestleMania 41. But Kross will compete in his first premium live event match since WrestleMania 40 today, when he faces Sami Zayn in singles action at Night of Champions. But this claim from Wade Keller of PW Torch, noting that fellow pro wrestlers don't believe he'll ever be pushed as a top star in WWE because the 39-year-old allegedly doesn't really like taking bumps. This point of view reportedly is not shared by backstage personnel, though. Fightful Select has reported that multiple people who have produced Kross's matches in the past claim that Kross not bumping has never been an issue they've encountered. So it depends, I guess, who you believe. Blake Monroe, the former Mariah May, has made her WWE in-ring debut. Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May in AEW, made her WWE in-ring debut at the June 27th NXT live event in Fort Pierce, Florida. Monroe faced Lady Reed in singles competition. This was Monroe's first match since losing the AEW Women's World Championship match against timeless Toni Storm in the Hollywood ending at AEW Revolution earlier on this year. Now, a bit of an update on the Beast Mortos actually being able to compete at Grand Slam Mexico last week. The main event of AEW's Grand Slam Mexico event on June 18th was originally meant to see the Young Bucks teaming up with the Death Riders to take on the team of the Ops, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. However, hours before the event, it was announced that the Beast Mortos would be taking Castagnoli's place in the match, something that raised more than a few eyebrows as Mortos was one of the many luchadors on CMLL's banned list. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer revealed that the reason why Mortos was on the list in the first place dates back to his early days as a professional wrestler, where he worked for CM Al as an undercard talent named Cemento. In 2012, Cemento went behind CM Al's back and had a tryout for their rival company AAA, who subsequently brought him in, something that CM Al were reportedly furious about, to the point where they stated Cemento would never work for the company ever again. Meltzer pointed out that the banned list is taken very seriously, hence why Mortos was not allowed to interact with CM Al talent in AEW up until very recently. As for how the ban got lifted, Mortos was in Mexico supporting his girlfriend, current AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné. When news broke that Castagnoli would not make the show due to private reasons, AEW President Tony Khan reportedly went to CM Al's owner, Salvador Lutaroff III, requesting Mortos be the one to fill in for Castagnoli, as he had nothing to do. And since Mortos is now classed as an AEW talent with no ties left to AAA, now that they've been acquired by WWE, Lutaroff agreed, and Mortos was allowed to work in Arena Mexico for the first time in 14 years. And finally, we now know what WWE Late Night is going to be. Now, after hosting a roast of WrestleMania earlier this year, comedian Tony Hinchcliffe is back for another round. WWE announced yesterday that Hinchcliffe will host WWE Late Night in Englewood, New Jersey at 11 p.m. Eastern after Night 1 of SummerSlam weekend on Saturday, August 2nd. Like with his roast of WrestleMania, this is a non-televised event that will not officially be broadcast anywhere. The Bergen Performing Arts Center is the venue for the comedy show, and ticket pre-sale begins this coming Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, with general on public sale then starting the next day. Hinchcliffe, the internationally renowned comedian, one of the top roasters in the world and the mastermind behind Killed Tony, will bring together soon-to-be-announced top comics, entertainers, and WWE superstars for an unforgettable night of laughs and huge surprises, WWE said. Now, while Hinchcliffe's WrestleMania roast in Las Vegas in April was not televised and cell phone footage was not supposed to be filmed, it was prohibited. In fact, a full audio recording ended up leaking online. It generated controversy for, among other things, jokes made about Charlotte Flair's appearance and marital history. Now, as I mentioned, we now know what the late night term was for, because a trademark for WWE Late Night was filed by the promotion on June 20th. SummerSlam 2025 is taking place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey on August 2nd and August 3rd, making this the first ever two-night SummerSlam in WWE history. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there, we're now less than 150 subscribers to go until 23,000. So I appreciate everyone that's been subscribing recently, always been with us since the very start or somewhere in between. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe. You can also join the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can also scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Speaking of the sidebar too, you can see all upcoming live streams we've got on the channel. That includes tonight for WWE Night of Champions. We've got a watch-along and a post-show. And then at the beginning of July, of course, we've got AEW All-In Texas, a watch-along and a post-show. Then the very same day, we've got WWE Saturday Night's main event, a watch-along and a post-show featuring Goldberg's retirement match. And then the next day, we've got WWE Evolution. We've got a watch-along and a post-show for that. It's certainly going to be a busy time in pro wrestling. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. As always, I'll see you later on for Night of Champions, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.